Thank you so much for the invitation to speak today. Yeah, what an amazing venue and amazing speakers that have gone before. So I'm going to take you through now a little bit about the customer experiences of this transition. So we've heard from already some fantastic speakers bringing up the challenges around the government policy, regulation, and around some of the physical infrastructure challenges that we're facing. I'm going to try and put it in the context of a customer. And actually, the work that we've been doing at Octopus, but great projects going on around the place, picking up on the point that Rachel Wolf made this morning, actually, or earlier today, which is that whilst the government strategy is very important and having regulatory frameworks is also very important, it's actually on-the-ground projects that are going to make this really happen. Okay, so 3 really simple things that customers want. They want their transport and their energy to be cleaner, they want it to be cheaper, and they want to have choice. And of these, choice is the newest. So think of yourselves as consumers of energy. I don't think any of us would argue that we want more coal. We want more wind, to Graham's good point. We want the offshore wind. We want those ambitions to be realised. We want to know that when we are turning on a light switch, it is cleaner. And again, as Rachel pointed out earlier in her piece, that many of us know about the net zero challenge ahead and want to do something about it. So I think we can all agree that the cleaner piece of this is undisputed. Customers want energy to be cheaper and thereby want their transport to be cheaper. And we know there are many challenges at the moment in the world that are challenging that. But as we transition to alternative fuels, and I'm focusing on electric vehicles in this particular piece of the proceedings today, cheaper electricity means cheaper fuel in your vehicle. Again, I don't think any of us would argue that cheaper is always better as a customer. So the third point about choice. This is where I want us to really think what life is going to be like as we head towards 2030. 2040, 2050, as we all work hard to meet the challenge of keeping that 1.5 degree level alive. Choice of how we use energy is so important in our day-to-day, and yet so few people actually know what choice they have. And so I'm going to talk to you a bit about a project that we've been doing as a case study for how customers are going to learn. And I think, again, as Graham mentioned, when you get an EV, even if you borrow one for a couple of days, it opens your mind to how you use energy, where it comes from, how much it costs you. And it really is a gateway to thinking about then how do you use energy in your home, in your life, how do you heat your home. So I'm going to tell you a bit of a story about something that we've been doing, that's something that is very close to my heart, which is around vehicle to grid. And vehicle to grid is about thinking about that car, that mobility asset, as a battery on wheels. And actually thinking about how important it is to be able to move yourself around. And we know we're addicted to cars and we're addicted to using cars to move around, and that isn't going to change anytime soon. But we need to start thinking about that battery as a very important and valuable part of the overall vehicle. So, here's a customer. You might recognize her. This is me, and this is me with a Nissan Leaf, and this is me at my house, because I'm a mechanical engineer by training, and part of my role is around developing new technologies and trying them out in the real world. And like any good engineer, any good scientist, I wouldn't be doing my job if I wasn't trying it out on myself first. So this is my house, and this vehicle can put energy back into my home, and any that my home doesn't use, it can put it back onto the grid. Again, you might be thinking, well, hang on. This is an electric vehicle. It can't go anywhere unless it has electricity in the battery. So why would you want to take the electricity out of the battery? Makes no sense, ridiculous, you're crazy, move on. But let's think back to what Graham was saying about the grid and the challenge. We need to 100% increase how much electricity we have. And actually, we need to do more with what we have. And we need to get more out of the extra capacity that we're going to put in. So something that's important to keep in mind at this stage is that actually demand on the grid is different at different times of day. And what that does is drive the price of energy. Again, as a customer, keeping in mind this is about the customer view, I'm sure many of you, maybe those of you who are not as close to this day to day as others, have been on a flat rate tariff at home. So you pay the same whether you make a cup of tea in the morning, in the evening, maybe overnight. It's been the same price. And that drives your behavior. It makes you think it doesn't really matter when I make my cup of tea, when I run the washing machine, when I charge my electric vehicle. But actually there's a cost to that energy in the background. And when we think about the grid, when we think about the distributed network, there is a price difference. And that's being driven by demand on that local grid. And actually at tea time, when everyone comes home and they put on their very efficient lights, they're still drawing energy. You're still cooking with electricity, and you're still using energy in the home. And in fact, in the UK, we see a big peak demand around 4 to 7. And so meeting part of that demand right now is burning fossil fuels. So actually, we need to think about when is it the best time to use energy? And if we take a big step back, we want that to be the cleanest time. And as a customer, we want it to be the cheapest time. So thinking about this as a whole system solution, taking a little bit of electricity out of a vehicle around tea time and sharing it back to the grid, and even using electricity out of that vehicle to meet the demand of your home means that you're helping the grid because you're not drawing that energy at that time when it's expensive and it's not as clean. And that does lots of things. That helps you to save money. That helps you to use energy when it's cleanest. And it helps us to do more with what we already have. Okay, so some of you might have seen this before. You might be aware of it. For those of you who aren't, this chart shows you the first EV time of use tariff that we brought out at Octopus, Octopus Go. That blue line is what I've been talking about. That's about when demand is highest and lowest. And that pink line shows you the price of this tariff. What it's showing you is that overnight there is a cheap period, and that enables you to charge your vehicle overnight at a cheaper rate than if you did that during the day. Now, that's great because it means you're charging cheaper. It also means you're charging greener because often we have a lot of renewable use coming onto the grid overnight, and at the moment we have nowhere to put it. So as John mentioned, as Graham mentioned, we need places to put this electricity. And electric vehicle batteries is an excellent place to put it. So again, I want you to cast your mind forward to tens of thousands of cars on the road, hundreds of thousands, millions, batteries available, places to store energy. This also incentivizes customers to behave in a certain way. And who doesn't like a little nudge that helps us to save a bit of money? And we see that customers start to move all sorts of parts of their behavior. Washing machine on timed, dishwasher on timed. And we ran a trial with the help of Bays, with Innovate UK. And we've been doing this power looping, this vehicle to grid. And what we've learned is that customers are very engaged. They want to be part of it. They want to plug in. And they want to share in the benefits in order to help the grid. So very soon, we'll be participating in the National Grid Balancing Mechanism. In fact, this house, my house, will be the first, which is a very proud moment personally, but very exciting for us as we move into this energy transition. Because we'll prove that from the National Grid Control Centre, a signal can be sent to thousands and thousands of vehicles to help, to give a bit of battery back and to charge up overnight, to help to balance the grid, to do more with what we have and to do more with what we're going to invest in. Cleaner, cheaper, choice of how you use that energy. This is the future for customers. Thank you.